Hello and welcome to Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle, the internet's only podcast exclusively devoted to the Monkey Island series of adventure games. I'm Alistair.
And I'm Gordon. Happy New Year.
It's September of 2025. We're back again.
We're back. We just keep coming back for more pain.
We've been talking about coming back for a while. We just didn't get around to it. We tried a few months ago, but you were too tired.
Yes, I was.
Which is understandable. So we can.
Yeah, well, I live an action-packed life, so what can you expect?
We haven't given up on Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle. We are frequently talking about more ideas for it. It's just a matter of, one, having the motivation to do it, and two, finding the time.
That's it. But you know that. You know that, gang.
We've said this a million times in the past. Yeah. We're going to keep saying it. We'll be saying this again next year.
Let's keep the ball rolling. What are we going to talk about today?
So this is episode 32 of Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle. Ultimate Talkie-Talk, where we're going to talk to each other with a focus on the Ultimate Talkie editions of Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2.
Yes, and also it's the 35th anniversary, I think, this month?
Yeah.
Of the
Secret of
original publication of Secret. So I wanted to kind of touch on 35 years of Monkey Island. What does Monkey Island mean to us?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? I think that's what we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, exactly that.
All right. Well, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So 35 years of Monkey Island. We didn't come to it until a couple of years after it was first published, but I kind of wanted to touch on what does Monkey Island kind of like. What are your reflections on 35 years of the series? What does it mean to you? I think I wanted to get into the root of like why do we play Monkey Island? Why do we love Monkey Island? What is it about Monkey Island?
Why do we still love Monkey Island? 35 years.
Yeah, why do we still love Monkey Island? Is it nostalgia? Is it longing for childhood? Is it the pirate theme? What is it to you?
Well, Monkey Island is... Okay, when we look at like classic texts or whatever, right, it doesn't matter if it's a novel or a film or a video game or whatever. Great pieces of media are timeless, right? It doesn't matter if the technology has changed, compare like the printing press of the days gone by to the way that books are published now or something like that. It doesn't matter. If something was well made, if something's good, it doesn't matter if the technology has changed or time passed or whatever, it's still a classic. And like The Secret of Monkey Island, 35 years on, is... like we've talked about this before, right? It's... Not only is it like a great game and groundbreaking, very important, but it's also just a very well-made game that is still perfectly playable in 2025, just as much as it was in 1990.
I agree. I think there's a little bit more to it for me. I think there is a certain level of, and I'm not sure if it's completely nostalgia-fueled, but it's a world that I like to escape into for whatever reason, and always have, even as a kid. And it's not just kind of returning to my childhood, but it's also kind of it is kind of returning to the Caribbean. Yeah. And especially those first couple of games, it is I play The Secret of Monkey Island when I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
Or like when I'm on a flight, or on my phone or something.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in our Indiana Jones episode, right? It's like that's the thing you do when you're on holiday.
Yeah, and it's relaxing to me, and it, as you say, it's timeless, and I kind of have been dabbling with this idea of kind of things that existed in the 20th century for whatever reason, maybe because that's where I'm from, special to me for some reason, and feel more special to me in a way that things that maybe post 2000 don't resonate the same way. But I'm also very aware that there's a very marked, for people of our age, late 80s kids, kind of that 2000 era is when we kind of stopped being kids.
Yeah.
So that, is that tied into why I like the first 3 games more than the later games? Is it purely nostalgia? But I don't think so. I think there's a certain aspect to the games that makes me want to kind of just hang out in them. And I think that's a really important thing, that like you want to be in that world.
Yeah.
You want to be on Melee Island, or you want to be... I like to look off into the distant sunset, or into the distant vista of Fat Island, the Fat Island Mansion, and it kind of feel like I'm there. And for a moment, like you say, in any great piece of fiction or whatever, you're kind of transported into that world. And because it's such a well-made piece, I still like to return to it.
What you were just saying about looking out into the environment and how you feel immersed in that world, this was something I wanted to talk about because I was looking at this recently in terms of, and I'll probably talk about this a bit later, some adventure games that came out this year, but how adventure games handle establishing shots and establishing the characters in the environment. And one of the things at the LucasArts games, I was looking through a whole archive of Scum engine backgrounds recently. And one of the things that the LucasArts games did really well was they always gave you a sense of where you were. And I think we talked about this in our retrospective on Secret back in 2022, when I talked about how, like, if you'd wanted to, Captain Smirk's house could have just been the bit where you're inside, and Guybrush walks up to the door on the left-hand side, and maybe you black out the interior of the house, and Smirk opens the door, and you see him. But they give you that screen where you see the outside of Smirk's house. And, like, that basically just exists to establish where you are, right? And I think I talked about, like, Rum Rogers Beach is a similar thing, which is like, I guess you get dumped there if you push the wrong brick or you fail the puzzle with the drinking contest or whatever. But it always gives you a sense of where you are within the world. And going back to, like, what you were saying about, like, immersing yourself in the world and the kind of adventure, the magic of these games, I think that the way these were put together by the teams at the time was really effective in that way, because the art and the writing made the world feel very coherent. It's not like you just walk on from the left side of the screen or whatever in any environment or something like that. You feel very present. And that would have been expensive and difficult and annoying for them to do back then, more than it is now. But they did it, and it makes a big difference in terms of why these games are so immersive. It's not just Monkey Island, it's the other LucasArts games as well.
It is, and it's why they've stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And you used the example of that exterior shot of Captain Smirk's house, and there's a kind of this... I can't believe I'm really saying this about this video game, but this kind of sense of melancholy and loneliness.
Well, you walk through the island,
in that image,
out to that far part, and then it's like, this is where you are, right at the edge of kind of that Melee Island world that you found yourself in the game. And it feels removed from the rest of the island. And it's a great piece of art. You could hang that image of that shack on your wall. And, people would think you were weird, but that would be okay. I noticed this with, like, Fate of Atlantis as well, for example, as another one, where you always, like, where are you before you go into the place where the main action of this piece of the game takes place? It always shows you where you are. Even if it's the car pulling out in the street of Barnet College that you see from the interior of Caswell Hall, you always have a sense of where you are. I was just saying, I've recently been replaying, as you know, Sam and Max Hit the Road, and that's a really good one as well, where The game
Yeah.
always grounds you in that location. Like, where's the car? You've pulled up in the car, and then you're going into the environment.
Yeah, you're not just there. I think this is when we talk about things being cinematic. This is kind of the true essence of the word,
Yeah.
rather than things just being flash.
Yeah, having like cinematic style camera work or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of the actually going shot for shot and telling the narrative the way a piece of cinema would.
Yeah.
And in many ways, I was thinking earlier about how Monkey Island and kind of the LucasArts, the spirit of the 90s LucasArts games were kind of the third. We had Star Wars, we had Indiana Jones, and then the 90s was the games. It was the next. That was the next thing, really. And I've been recently playing Day of the Tentacle, kind of on the back of you
replaying it. Yeah,
replaying.
And I played it on holiday. I replayed. I was on a trip out of town, and I replayed Day of the Tentacle.
And just what we were talking about when we go, I was playing Day of the Tentacle, and sorry to talk about Day of the Tentacle.
No, we're probably going to do a Day of the Tentacle episode at some point in the future.
Just tying into this idea, I was kind of thinking, I can't wait to go back in time with Hoagie and see like the mansion be outside with the and. This is a very nerdy thing, but it's just very good.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll save what I was going to say for when we do a Day of the Tentacle episode. But to go back to what you were saying at first, I mean, obviously I can look at it from a very high-level intellectual perspective, but yes, of course, I love Monkey Island because I associate it with being a little kid, and Monkey Island's a bit of a like child's power fantasy, right? Like maybe I'm intellectualizing it again, but like you get to be Guybrush and run around and steal things and be like, say whatever you want to people with no consequences. But it's just, as you say, it's a world you want to be in. We're like little Guybrush, right? We want to be in that world. It doesn't matter if it's a game or a theme park or whatever. It's a really fun place to be. And I think it's like gameplay, art, writing, it all coalesces into something that it doesn't matter like that I'm now hurtling towards 36. Like I'm only like, slightly older than this game. But I still, love being in that world because... Yeah, it is a comfortable place to be, and it just feels right to just jump into Secret or MI2 or Curse or whatever every so often.
Yeah, and I think you like it for different reasons than you did as a child.
Yeah, it's like you like it for some of the same reasons, but for more reasons, I guess. Is what I would say.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed that a lot, and I think that's kind of something we're going to get into with playing it with my son.
Yeah.
But 35 years of Monkey Island. It's been a big part of our lives. It's dipped in and out. I was kind of thinking about this. It's 35 years since Secret came out, but it's not as if it's been a constant thing.
No.
And I was kind of wondering, because you and I kind of have our problems, especially with the last two.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about this idea of like a kind of a franchise thing and this law of diminishing returns. And is there a better way to celebrate a franchise that you love early on without just making more disappointing games? Or more episodes, or more films, how does one celebrate Return of the Jedi without making
more Star Wars stuff,
Star Wars movies? I haven't got an answer to it, but I guess like talking about the future, I guess, what's the next 10 years of MI? There's always a danger of things once you start to outweigh the stuff that you love with the stuff that you don't love so much, the franchise can become diluted and
Yeah.
disappointing, and you almost resent it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the relationship I have with Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, that's an example of something where it's like, well, I just ignore the stuff that was made after 1989 or whatever now, because it's like, who cares? You know, it's not for me. or after, let's say, 1996, are we going to include the TV movie? But
that's kind of what you and I do, or are doing right now. Like, let's just keep talking about secrets.
I mean, I think in fairness, right, like, you and I would still talk about Return and Tales, like, and we would still do like a madly rotating Buccaneer about a chapter of Tales or something like that. Would we be a bit critical of it?
Sure, of course.
Yes. but I think
and I guess that's the fun.
I think with MI, like, every time, it's like, we've talked about this before. Dominic Armato always saying, well, there's never going to be another one. Every time he makes a game, he's like, there's never going to be another one. There's never needed to be... I mean, you could argue that there never needed to be another one after 2. I think we've kind of talked about that before.
Or after the first one, like anything.
Yeah. And like, I don't resent something like Tales or Return for existing. And I don't... It's like, I often think about Return as like, I think it's better in terms of concept than execution. You know? But could we have gotten anything different? Maybe not. You know, and like,
who knows?
And I think in terms of like, celebrating this thing that we've loved for a long time, even though maybe some of the later installments we're not so fond of. It doesn't mean that we're not going to like go back and play them at some point.
No,
right?
Sure.
Maybe not as much.
Sure. No, I know. But that's also a technological thing as well. But it's an enjoyment thing.
Yeah,
but Monkey Island is an odd thing where it's always alive and it goes away, and then when you least expect it, a decade later it'll appear again.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool in a way.
Well, I mean, it is probably an immortal thing. There'll probably every so often there'll be another Monkey Island. I don't think it'll ever quite die the way that some series have. Maybe it will, but
no.
I think it's had enough longevity to this point.
Yeah, and there's a small group of very diehard fans that really love it.
And I think Monkey Island has become the adventure game series, where even King's Quest, for example, has kind of died, or like the other Sierra, the ones that were way more successful and popular in the late 80s and early 90s than the LucasArts games were when they were getting started. But Monkey Island has endured.
And that's testament to the quality, I think, of those, and the talent that was there making them at the time.
And I think it's a very unique concept that it endures because people remember when they think about Monkey Island, they think of like, oh, it's fun to be a pirate. Guybrush is a fun character to be as. Insult sword fighting, LeChuck, voodoo dolls, stuff like that. When people think of something like, and I know I've kind of been a bit harsh about the Sierra games, I don't actually know them very well and stuff in the past, but what do people think about when they think of like King's Quest? Oh, it's really unfair and you die all the time. And I think it's the reason that Monkey Island has endured is because when people think of Monkey Island, they think, oh, like, this was this fun game that made me laugh and made me happy, They're not like, this is this game that pissed me off when I was like a little kid, or I was like a bored teenager or 20-something in the late 80s or something like that.
I guess it's like any piece of art, whether it be music or film or whatever, that if it resonates with you on that emotional level, as you say, with the humour, you're more likely to stick with it and explore it further.
they're like timeless characters. It's just, I think, we've talked about that whole lightning in a bottle concept before. That was what Secret of Monkey Island was. And it's been substantial enough for that to survive for another few games, even if the gap between them gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think talking about the future of Monkey Island, that might be a whole discussion in itself.
Yeah, I think we've got funny ideas about how we would do Monkey Island 7. I was daydreaming on the bus about that the other day, but I'll keep my powder dry about my silly idea for Monkey Island 7, which is completely different to my Monkey Island 3 ideas from a few years ago when we talked about that.
Yeah, well, we did that episode where we kind of said, what would you do? But now it'd be interesting to talk about what would you do now if you were given the keys.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Cool. So happy anniversary, birthday, whatever, to the Secret of Monkey Island.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah. Have some banana cake.
Carrot cake. Sure.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to move on now to talking about Ultimate Talkie Talk.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do we want to start by, I don't know, we don't want to make this a full-blown discussion of the special editions or something like that, but everyone loves it when we talk about, do you remember what it was like back in 2009 when the special edition of The Secret of Monkey Island was announced? We have some background, right? Because Ultimate Talkie takes the voice acting from special edition and puts it with the 256 color version of the main game. Everyone listening to this knows that, but whatever.
Sure.
Let's go back to 2009. And when you probably woke me up and said they've announced Tails.
I did. I woke you up and said they've announced Tails. And also there's this trailer for their redoing Secret.
Yeah.
With new graphics.
Yeah.
And you're a little grumpy, I think, to be woken up. We were at that very uni student age where time shifts.
Yeah, as a 20-year-old uni student who stayed up very late and got up very late, and I was not doing anything remotely constructive with my time. I certainly wasn't studying or anything like that. That's just being in your early 20s, and
I
think. You probably woke me up and said there's a new Monkey Island, and I went, okay.
Yeah, I think you did exactly the same tone.
You probably came into my disgusting bedroom.
Pushing apart piles of books and comics and
accumulated junk.
Toys. We played both Tails and Special Edition. I can't remember which came out first. I think Tails was definitely higher priority because it was the new one.
New Monkey Island was more important.
Yeah. We played Special Edition of Secret. I played through it once with the updated graphics and kind of thought, yep, that exists. And I've never gone back to it.
Yeah, I've replayed Special Edition of Secret a few times, but not for a very long time. I think we've spoken about this before. You and we never play Special Edition. We play the original releases of the games on Scum VM.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to say this, but I think that's what the majority do. And I was kind of thinking about what would it be like if this was your Monkey Island?
Yeah.
I think for some people this is their thing.
Yeah. And
we hear from people that say Tails was their thing.
Yeah.
Tails was their Monkey Island.
And for a lot of people it was Curse, of course. Curse of Monkey Island.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
But I think Secret Special Edition... it was just initially an experiment at LucasArts. It wasn't an official project. Some guy was just like, can I fiddle around with Secret and make it so you can flip between an HD redone version of the game and the original game?
Well, that was the thing I was most excited about originally, because I saw that you could flip between the two, and I thought, oh, great, I'm going to play through this with just the voices turned on. But you couldn't do that without the subtitles also on.
Well, if I recall correctly, in Secret Special Edition, you actually couldn't play in the original version of the game with the voice acting at all.
That was
it was only in Monkey
Island
Island 2 Special Edition. But you still, had the text on the screen.
The text.
Yeah.
But if I play Curse, I don't have the text.
No.
Don't see the point of the. I mean, because I have good hearing, I don't see the point of having the text and the sound.
And I find it very difficult in situations like that to not read the text before I finish listening to the dialogue. So I want one or the other, not both.
Yeah. But now, if I went back and played the Chuck's Revenge or Secret, I would always just play it with the text.
And I think this was the big draw card with Secret Special Edition, was not the updated visuals, because, meaning no disrespect to the people who worked on them, they're not that great. And they were obviously working within a very limited budget and resources. And LucasArts management probably told them, make it look like Curse, but don't make it look too much like Curse and stuff like that. And there are bits there are gaps in the backgrounds where you can see the original, or the 256 color art through unfinished pieces of, painting and stuff. And it's like, I would much rather look at those lovely Mark Ferrari backgrounds than this half-finished thing that someone rushed out in Photoshop because they were being told by a LucasArts boss to get it done really quickly. The big thing was that they got the original voice actors from Curse of Monkey Island back to do the voices, and if anyone wasn't in Curse, they got the Escape voice actor, pretty much. In almost every case.
That was great.
Yeah.
As you say, that was the draw for me.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, great. It's going to be fascinating to hear Dom voice.
Yeah. And
Secret.
And for Dom, Armada was like a dream come true, right?
Yeah.
He got to voice the game that had initially made him love Monkey Island in the first place.
Yeah, and record all those classic lines. And we got Alexandra Boyd and
El Bowen, of course.
El Bowen, yeah.
But and obviously some characters didn't have voices from existing voice actors from Curse or Escape, but
no.
A lot of them did, and the ones that they did get, I think were perfectly fine. I think the voice acting for Secret Special Edition is overall pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. The music is good too.
Yeah, the re-recorded music's quite nice for Secret Special Edition.
I remember at the time, on the forums, etc., we were all like, are there people at LucasArts? Does LucasArts have an in-house development team working on this?
Yeah.
Because after the cancellation of Sam and Max and the Full Throttle sequel, who knew what was going on at LucasArts?
No one had a clue apart from licensed Star Wars games.
Stuff.
Yeah. And Indiana Jones games getting binned off. 95% of the way through development.
Yeah, crapped out by a third party. Well, I think is that the same year as Staff of Kings?
Must be, right? 2009.
Yeah. So we played it. I never played it again. I think also because I would have, but I'm on Mac.
Yeah.
I had access to a PC then, but I'm on Mac, and it just doesn't run on Mac. I'm sure there are ways of doing it.
Yeah. So I think we bought Secret Special Edition on my Steam account. I did gift you a copy of it many years ago that I somehow ended up with on my to your old Steam account, but I think you lost access to that because you do not play games very often. So except old LucasArts games. I play a few old games occasionally, and I've got a fairly decent collection of old consoles. And things, PC games. You don't.
I don't keep up.
You very understandably don't keep up, and neither do I, apart from indie games.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really have the interest. But
No, they're all crap. You're not missing anything.
well, that goes back to what I was talking about. It's like, do I just like old stuff, or is old stuff better?
Well,
It might be a
bit of both.
combination of
There's
the
a bit
two.
of both, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll talk about the new games you've been playing
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
So I'm not sure when Ultimate Talkie came
Yeah,
out.
I think it was not that long after, about 2010. I was looking it up before, and
Yeah.
the forum post was from 2010. So I think it was almost straight away.
Okay.
Someone got to work on it.
Yeah, well, it's, they did a great job, and it uses kind of the CD-ROM version of
Yeah.
256 color version of the original game.
Mm.
So you've got the graphics in the inventory and things like that. The pretty verbs. And it just kind of seamlessly combines the speech with the game.
Yeah, the
and you don't have to
visuals.
have the surtitles on or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And
The text boxes, yeah. Credit to Logic Deluxe on the Scum
Right.
VM forums. Just looked up the page.
Thanks, man.
there.
yeah, and it's available to download
Yeah.
from archive.org.
You just have to own a copy of, technically,
Yeah.
you're supposed to own
And
a
who
copy
doesn't?
of special.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, you do own a copy of
I do.
Secret of Monkey
Yeah.
Island Special Edition. That's like locked in a inaccessible Steam account.
Yeah, but I
somewhere, so,
I did pay for it.
yes, you paid for my copy. It was
Yeah,
Secret of
16
Monkey
years
Island
ago.
Special Edition, which I also never play, and I only ever install to grab voice clips and to install Ultimate Talkie occasionally.
So I recently played Ultimate Talkie because my son is now 7. I think we started playing it last year, maybe.
Yeah.
So he obviously is 6 last year. He's kind of just started school, just learning to read.
Yeah.
And he had an interest in Monkey Island, and you know what little kids are like. They just kind of have an interest in all things,
Yeah.
no matter what they are. And,
Yeah, they'll fixate on stuff that they find cool,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and obviously, like, I've got Monkey Island stuff, and I talk about Monkey Island, and I wanted to share Monkey Island with him. And we played it together, but he couldn't keep up with the reading. And I was kind of thinking about the nature of the reading and learning to read, and video games helping with that.
Yeah.
And we kind of did it, and I was reading it along with him, and now he can read.
Yeah.
He's like nearly 7.5. But in that intervening period, we fired up Talkie Edition.
Yeah.
And it was the thing that really got him into playing Monkey Island,
Yeah.
playing Secret.
Yeah.
So we'd already played through Curse together,
Yes.
and we'd had a go at Secret, but we hadn't kind of gotten that far because it kind of was a bit of a challenge with the speech.
Yeah.
But then we did, and he got really into it to the point where he was almost like he'd memorized everything to do,
Yeah.
and he was just trying to get through as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Much like we
As-
did and have done. Yeah.
Yeah, as you do as a kid, I gotta skip to the end, and
Yeah.
I'm saying, enjoy it, man. You got to enjoy it and solve the puzzles. And
Say it's the
and-
journey, not the destination.
That's right. And he'd be playing it, and there were kind of 2 stumbling blocks, I think. There was the insult sword fighting. He couldn't get his 7-year-old brain around completely.
Right. Yeah.
And there was another puzzle. What it was the talking to Stan to bargain him down to buy the sheep,
Yeah.
because
okay.
that kind of whole concept is just so
So dated.
rooted in. Well, it's dated, but it's also it isn't because you still do that at a car dealership. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's so rooted in like a real world
Yes,
adult
yes,
thing,
Yeah.
which is great. There's nothing wrong with kind of grown-up concepts in a children's game. This is how you learn. But being able to hear the talking and playing the old graphics, like he loves
Yeah.
old games, as you know.
Yeah.
And it really got him into it, and to the point where I got him past part 1, and then he came up to me a couple of hours later and said, "Dad, I've just finished it again.
Yeah.
Can we get another game?"
Yeah.
And I said, "What, you got through all of Monkey Island yourself, part 3? And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine."
Yeah. Okay.
He just soaked it all up.
So you're playing with the voice, but like you're playing Ultimate Talk, you're playing in the voice, but not the text.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting because I've heard that described as kind of the perfect way to play, but I think it depends, right? Like
for the voice and no text.
Yeah, but with the 256 color graphics, the VGA graphics. Like I think I have played Ultimate Talking of Secret of Monkey Island once, and it was fun. I think Dom Armado's voice acting is great in it. I think Earl Bowen, I've said this before, I think Earl Bowen, he's a professional, right? He was, rest in peace.
He's legit.
Yeah.
He's legit.
Like he, same with LeChuck's Revenge Special Edition, he's fantastic. Like recording lines that were not written to be said out loud or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think the rest of the cast, as I said, is good as well. But like for us, obviously, it's we don't hear the voice acting, like we don't hear those actors in our heads because we grew up with the unvoiced version of it. But I think it's a really good thing to have, and I wish that it was like a legit part of Secret Special Edition to play it this way. I mean, again, like I said, it was a thing they made very cheaply and in a big rush, probably to capitalize upon the fact that they licensed the property to Telltale to make Tales.
Yeah. Strike while the iron's
Yeah,
hot.
exactly. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame that the default version of Secret Special Edition can't be played this way. I myself, as we all know, am a sucker for the original EGA 16 color graphics of Secret of Monkey Island, but I do appreciate that the 256 VGA version is a lot nicer to look at, to kind of a modern sensibility. But I think it's cool that your son, my nephew, that he likes the old graphics with the voice. I like that that's something that kids can still appreciate, because 256 color Secret of Monkey Island looks way better than the HD Special Edition graphics.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's not even talking about like Guybrush's weird hair that people got annoyed about or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even
there was
care
the hair
about
patch.
that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't even care about Guybrush's hair in the game. It's just, yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things that we talk about, like, oh, that's your Monkey Island, and maybe that will be what he remembers as being kind of his version.
Yeah.
I could get really into talking about my experience with what kids like, and whether it matters if things are old, or if it matters if a film is in black and white or whatever. And what I've noticed is it doesn't matter. They don't care. If you're exposed to it, you can watch Tomb of the Cybermen in black and white and still enjoy it, and it's still scary.
Yeah.
My kids were petrified by the Hammer
Horror of Dracula, right? 1958.
Horror Dracula.
Is that...
Yeah. And it just goes to show it. So if the story is good, if the piece of work is good, Monkey Island, Secret of Monkey Island, as long as it was accessible enough with the voice, it resonated.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about childhood even now, right, is that we don't have to come to media with these preconceptions about how things ought to look or sound or feel based on the way that things are made now. Not saying that they're better or worse, but look, I don't have kids, so it's not my place to say, but I think it's nice to know that kids are open to old stuff if they see it, or if they read it or play it or whatever. It's nice to know that they still are, because a lot of people even our age would probably be reluctant to watch a black and white film or play an old game or something like that because it's not what they remember, or they didn't grow up with it, or it's not what they're used to engaging with anymore. And there's so much great stuff from the history of like human cultural production out there that was not made within the last 25 years.
I was thinking earlier before we started about around this time and things like Angry Video Game Nerd, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first thing that really cashed in on the retro Nintendo games and stuff. And I remember the first time I watched that, I watched it because he'd done an episode around the time of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes, the Indiana Jones
and I watched it.
episode.
Yeah. And it was the first thing that was like, oh, I have an interest in retro video games, but no one I know, everyone thinks it's ridiculous that I would, that I'm interested in emulating old games or whatever. But it was, now there is a culture of appreciating these things that there wasn't before.
Yeah, and there's a small group of us oddballs out there who still...
But I think it's more liking this old crap is like, it's more, people are more accepting of it or something, or there is kind of a place for it now, whereas I think 10 or 15, maybe 20 years ago, there wasn't. Either it wasn't old enough, or people just didn't care. It was all about the new.
Well, it's like vinyl records, right? I was saying to my friends at work the other day, like, that we're actually in the post no one caring about vinyl age, right? Was like,
which is crazy.
There was like 20, 15 years or something like that where people were like, well, vinyl's a dead format.
Yeah.
Now
and
everything gets
laughable.
released on.
Everything's on it, and I've got hundreds of them.
Your new album is coming out.
It is, yeah. Yeah, but nobody knows who I am, so.
No, well.
I mean, if you really wanted to find out, it wouldn't be that hard.
No. It would not be difficult to find out who either of it.
No, that's okay. And I think a couple of our listeners may know. But yeah, so I'm not sure what much more there is to say about Ultimate Talkie. The performances are good. I like the way it's combined with the original graphics. They're kind of it's the same graphics that were on the Mac version that I love to play.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I would really like, and this is a very nerdy thing, I need it patched so that it has a bit of a compression hiss, so it sounds like it came out on CD in 1994.
Yeah, obviously it's not the way it would have sounded had they made it in 1993 or 4 or something. It would have. That's like the kind of what if scenario, right? Is what if after they made Fate of Atlantis and Day of the Tentacle and Sam & Max, they're gone, well, let's do a talkie version of, Monkey Island 1 and 2 on CD when we re-release them on CD.
Yeah.
Let's get
Mark.
What
would Guybrush have sounded like?
Let's get Mark Hamill to voice Guybrush.
It's almost interesting they didn't do it in 1998. Because they did that, the Mega Monkey pack and everything to cash in on the popularity of Curse.
Yeah. Well, I do have one thing for you with Ultimate Talkie, Monkey Island 2.
Yes.
I assume that you and your son also played Monkey Island 2 Ultimate Talkie?
Yes, but he's not as into it.
Which is interesting, yeah.
It is interesting.
Because Monkey Island 2 is the best one.
I know, and I think he has an appreciation for it. I think the second part is
too
overwhelming
yeah,
to him.
Okay, that's interesting. It's funny because for us,
for
it's
a
like,
7-year-old,
the sense of adventure in part 2 of LeChuck's Revenge is like, we can go anywhere and do anything.
But it just feels like too much.
Yeah. I feel like the Ultimate Talkie of Monkey Island 2 was never really finalized, I think.
There is a version out there.
I
don't know if I've gotten all the way through it.
But
I don't know what it means by not finalized, but it seems stable to me.
Yeah, I think it was stable. I think the person who made it never was like quite finished doing it in terms of like this Logic Deluxe again. Yeah, never quite finished it. I don't think in terms of the music and sound effects and stuff like that. Like making, making the iMuse and stuff work, possibly something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Monkey Island 2 Special Edition was a much more polished product than Secret Special Edition. I have better memories of that because I remember you being very, very hyped for Monkey Island 2 and looking at all the concept art that they were releasing and stuff like that.
Well, I think Monkey Island 2 had more going with it with the commentary. That was the thing I was really excited about.
That's the other thing that's missed from Secret Special Edition. But again, it was just a cheap experiment. You know, I get it. But it's interesting that he's not as into Monkey 2.
I like at the time when it came out, it must have been 2010 or something. I should know this before hosting a Monkey Island podcast. That
I think it was about 2012 that the Ultimate Talkie, but like MI2.
I mean
MI2 Special Edition was 2010. Yeah.
Yeah, I played through it at the time, and the thing I was most excited about was the commentary track. But even that felt a little underwhelming. I wanted more.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit kind of basic. Yeah, that's probably the first time they'd really done one for a video game, or it was an early example of one. Yeah.
But I would have been happy watching a feature-length film of just the three of them talking about...
it would be more interesting to just watch the footage of Ron, Dave and Tim in the room watching the guy play MI2.
Laughing.
And chatting to each other and stuff. I mean...
Tim did a playthrough of, I think, his 3 big Lucas games in about 2014 or so. And he put them on YouTube, and there were 40 minutes or something, and that's all I want. I was happy to watch him. It was fascinating watching him do it and just talking about it. And I guess he's a charismatic guy as well.
Yeah.
Arguably more so than
the other two.
Ron and Dave.
Yeah.
So it works. But I mean, there are things like in the commentary, Ron talks about... I'm not sure if it's a joke or not. They say something about, why do his pants fall down?
Yeah.
You know, when he pulls the bone out.
Yeah.
And, maybe actually it might be Tim that says
Tim
is critical of that.
Questions the pants falling down joke. And Ron says it's funny because pants falling down is funny and stuff.
Yeah. I think you and I, off the record, have had like conversations about Ron now.
Yeah.
Don't want to say too much because he definitely listens to this. But it's a curious thing, and I just would have liked more of the 3 of them, especially.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the 3 of them together kind of had they clearly, even still in 2010, had like a good chemistry. The 3 of them together. I know that his remasters, I think, have commentary of the ones he worked on, but again, neither of us have actually played those. But
we've played the original games.
Yeah, the original.
We've just not played the remasters.
It's my shame I've never finished Full Throttle. But
only take you 20 minutes.
One day. I've never played Ultimate Talkie Monkey Island 2. I played Special Edition quite a bit, and I did like the visuals and music and stuff back then. But, I mean, this is one... we've kind of talked about this before. Monkey Island 2 Special Edition, they did change some of the dialogue, and I do know that they did that because some of the jokes were considered a little bit off color and things like that. I completely get that, but at the same time, for me, it's not the authentic thing. It's
experience.
Yeah, it's just
not the theatrical cut.
Exactly.
What were they? Is there something about white slavers? Is that a thing?
And midget wrestling.
Okay. They take the thing out about the Nintendo game.
Yeah, and the Zonka Harris joke is replaced with Kyle Katarn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, Zonka Harris, that's a very American reference.
Yeah, and it's a very obscure reference, but that wasn't cut because it was obscure. It was cut because a lawyer told them to. Right.
Oh, wow. I mean, I only know what that is from looking it up.
But it's the same with the Nintendo joke, right? It's like that was changed because a lawyer said so. It wasn't. But anyway, I'm not here to grouse about those changes. I understand that some of those jokes would not quite,
especially
were a bit passé in 2010. That's fine. But I'm just like, for me, Monkey Island 2 is the game that came out in 1991, and I don't think it should have been changed. But there were copyrighted songs that Guybrush sings when you inhale the helium under Dinky Island.
Of course.
At the end as well, that they had to change.
Like Wizard of Oz and stuff.
Yeah, and there was like an Osmond Family song or something. I think stuff like that. Yeah.
I guess the other thing, MI2, despite coming out on other systems, it was always the same, pretty much.
Yeah. Like,
graphically. And
Amiga was stripped down in terms of the music and stuff. FM Towns we talked about before. There was in Mojo, they figured out the existence of kind of like EGA MI2 or something like that, but.
And Black and White
MI2, which never was actually released.
No, it looks ridiculous.
But like,
you've seen the screenshots.
Yeah, those scanned paintings by Peter Chan did not survive the transition to black and white.
That's kind of we owned a black and white Mac. I mean, I still own it, but like we played a lot of black and white video games, which is showing our age. But it didn't quite work. I don't think for MI2 you really needed the 256 color palette.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, Ultimate Talkie MI2. I think MI2 Special Edition. Yeah, the only issue with it is that you can't turn off the text. You can have voice and text at the same time with the original graphics. You just can't have voice, original graphics, and iMuse all at the same time. I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. So Ultimate Talkie probably is still a better way to play it, especially for kids and people who are used to not having to read text on the screen.
Yeah, but I am curious to see how he'd go, my boy, with now just reading it, if he'd get the same amount out of it, because he can just read now. So I'm going to try that when he shows an interest. I'm not going to force him to do it. We have been playing, as we mentioned at the top, Day of the Tentacle together. Yeah. And that's, in my opinion, the definitive version of that is the Talkie version. Yeah.
So although there's a whole interesting thing with Talkie versions of LucasArts games as well, because often the project leads had almost nothing to do with the voice casting and direction.
It's a different thing.
Sam and Max Hit the Road. Stemley and Clark had apparently absolutely nothing to do with the voice act. And I think possibly Ackley and Ahern had almost nothing to do with the voice casting and performance of Curse. But I would have to double check that. I think often it was out of their hands. I think a similar thing may have happened with Fate of Atlantis, but I would have to confirm that. Don't take my word as gospel.
No, I certainly won't.
Well, why would you?
No, you're long enough to know better than that. So yeah, Ultimate Talking Edition, give it a go, but then just go back to playing the originals, or play whatever you want.
Yeah, play whatever you want. It's a fun way to play the originals, but it's not going to be the way that I will play them for the rest of my life. It will be the ones where I read the words on the screen, because that's just what I grew up with.
Well, I guess when I talked earlier about how do we celebrate these things without just pining for a new game, things like Ultimate Talkie or things that Mojo unearths, the black and white version, those are the things that a fan can revel in without necessarily demanding a new installment.
Yeah, or by recording a podcast about Monkey Island that
Yeah, for years.
releases a handful of episodes every year.
Yeah, but the kids love us. Well, what else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about very briefly new adventure games that came out this year, if I may.
We should give this a segment title. I've put you on the spot now.
Yeah, Insult Adventure Gaming. I don't know.
It's good enough for
pretty
me.
Rubbish, but
What they call the magazine was The Adventurer. That was the thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alistair's adventures in this.
Adventure gaming.
Yeah. There's just some alliteration there somewhere. Anyway, we'll workshop it.
Yeah, we'll come back to you in a future episode.
Anyway,
maybe.
sorry, I derailed you.
No,
Keep
that's
going.
all right. No, I just wanted to say that I do try a bit to keep up with modern indie, especially point-and-click adventure games, because there are still some like fun ones being made. Cathy Rain 2 came out this year. Cathy Rain 2 Soothsayer, which the original game came out like 9 years ago. I've only played the director's cut, which came out about 4 years ago, but and I've mentioned before I really love Cathy Rain 1 director's cut. Cathy Rain 2 was pretty good as well. I really admire the effort that was put into that. It's a really fun game and a fun sequel to the first one. True Fear 3 was another point and click that came out this year that was like about like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years after the second one or something. And Deep Sleep Labyrinth of the Forsaken, which I haven't finished playing, but is a follow-up to the Script Welder Deep Sleep and Don't Escape series, which we've played. And
Sum those three games up in 20 words or less. Give us a brief.
what?
For Cathy Rain, what is that about?
Well, Cathy Rain's like a detective adventure game where you have to solve a mystery. True Fear, I haven't actually played True Fear 3, but that's more like a horror adventure game. But they're all inventory puzzle-based adventure games. That one's in the first-person pre-rendered perspective, more like Myst or something. And then this new Deep Sleep game, the originals were all brief point-and-click adventure games. Same with Don't Escape trilogy.
Yep.
Don't Escape 4 was like a full-length, old-school style point-and-click adventure with some time management aspect to it, which you didn't like.
Yeah, it stressed me out, yeah.
And Deep Sleep 4, which just came out, is a point-and-click adventure game combined with like resource management and turn-based combat, which I've found it's not quite in my wheelhouse. So I've found that I've bounced a bit off that. It's a good game, and it's taken about 5 years for Script Welder to make. I definitely admire the effort. I probably would have preferred a little bit more focus on the puzzle solving and less on the combat. So that'll be something I won't advocate for in Monkey Island 7 is turn-based combat. And the other thing
Which would you recommend?
Cathy Rain 2. Play Cathy Rain Director's Cut and Cathy Rain 2. They're both really great point-and-click games made with a lot of love and care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. And play Don't Escape 4, which is not one of the games I've recommended.
Is that the one I played?
Yeah.
The one that stressed me out.
Yeah. But I was going to say...
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Last year we talked about how I was all G'd up for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And then I played it and it was fun and I enjoyed it.
There you go.
And the DLC, Order of Giants, just came out and I've been playing that a bit. I haven't finished it yet and that's been fun too. Some annoying puzzles, but maybe I'm just stupid.
Did you finish it?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle or the DLC?
No, the DLC.
As of time of recording, I've not yet finished the DLC. But
Okay.
there was a review I think I sent to you at the time that said Great Circle was the best Indiana Jones game, and it was cut off. And I was like, "Oh, what are they saying?" And I looked at it and it said, "Since Fate of Atlantis." And I was like, "Okay, that's an all right."
Sure.
It's like, because it is.
That's not a hard thing to say. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, I have a copy of. I don't know how
Great
much
Circle.
it matters how much you have. Yeah, I have Great Circle. It's still in the shrink wrap because I don't own a console to play it, but one day I will. But I don't even know if it matters if you have the disc or not. Is it just? Is there no data on the disc and it's just going to download it later? I have no idea.
There's some, but it's probably been updated to the point now that it would reinstall the entire thing.
Yeah. It'll just be on my shelf with all of my other Indiana Jones rubbish. I'll play it one day. I remember when it came out. Was that last year?
Yeah, it was December last year.
Yeah, people were going on about it in the Indiana Jones community like it was the meaning of something, and then it just kind of interest has dropped off, I think.
Yeah, I think it was fairly successful, but it didn't carry anyone over for months and months and months or anything like that. It was a single player story based game that you play to the end and then it's done.
Yeah. No replay value like LeChuck's Revenge.
No, didn't have anywhere near the amount of optional content.
Well, it's a classic piece. Okay. Well, I think that might wrap up the end of our triumphant return.
Yeah, we're back.
For 2025. As I said, Happy New Year. We'll try to get another one of these out, not in a year.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, we've actually got some stuff to talk about now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. That's been Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle. The internet's only podcast exclusively dedicated to the Monkey Island series of graphic adventure games.
That's right.
We think.
It is.
Yeah, sure. Oh, and I just wanted to say...
Look! A three-headed monkey! Papa Bishu!